eat in a shorter window. So if there's 24 hours in a day, humans give themselves license to eat as long as they're awake, right?
Yeah.
If you eat only between, say, the hours of 10 a.m. and 5 p.m., you will do less damage because you're restricting certain hours, so you can't eat junk if you're not allowing yourself to eat junk. This is the first thing that I work with clients and helping them to restructure their diet and lifestyle, because if they're not willing to make changes to the food choices, make changes to when you allow yourself to eat.
You're tuned into the EE Show, where everything's energy, and today we're going to dive down the porcelain throne and have a shitty conversation about poo. And Roland is our expert today on this, and he's got a lot of value to present to people when it comes to gut health and fecal matter.
I got a lot of shit to say, basically.
I want to hear about all the shit.
Okay, here we go. What do you guys want to know about poop?
I mean, let's start with just 101 for general public. What can they do to improve their gut health and stool capacity?
You know, it's such a sought after question, because I make the joke, and when I lecture, I say people who have healthy guts, I call them unicorns. We should capture them and study them. But if you put someone in a cage, their gut health would go away because they'd be so stressed. So it would actually collapse on itself. I don't think there's someone out there in modern society, in the Western world, who doesn't experience some kind of gut issue. And the symptom of the body is the body's way of trying to tell you that something's not right. And what most people do when they have a symptom is they simply ignore it. Like, I've literally had clients who have told me that they have diarrhea every day for weeks, and they just thought that's how they pooped. So the average person has no idea that, like, it's a sealed tube from end to end. From the moment you smell food, the process of digestion starts. And there's a time frame that process should happen, where the food gets absorbed and the waste material collects in the colon, the bowel, and you should release it. And the average person should have zero awareness of what's going on with their digestion. They shouldn't get bloated. They shouldn't get gassy. They shouldn't have distension. They shouldn't have sour taste in their mouth after they eat, or any post-meal experiences like brain fog, fatigue, joint pain. And when you go to the bathroom, like, it shouldn't be that Austin Powers scene, like, who does number 2 work for? It should be like, just sit down, relax, let it go. If you really want to be extra, you can get one of those squatty potties, because we're not meant to sit on a 90-degree angle on a toilet. We're supposed to squat.
I love the squatty potty.
Squatty potties are
I
the
can't
best.
get behind them. I've tried them.
How about on top, though?
It's the ultimate way to let shit go with a squatty potty.
But the fundamental reality is one should move their bowels every 16 to 24 hours minimum, depending upon the person. If someone wants a really good test, and there's a funny story with this, eat beets. What happens when you eat beets?
It's like a dye going through your system.
It
comes
is.
out red.
It's like a radio tracer, right?
Yeah.
And if you're so constipated that you poop once every 3 days, do not rush to the hospital thinking you're bleeding from the asshole. That's happened to me as a client before. They literally rushed to the hospital because they thought they were internally bleeding.
Yeah, I've had I forgot, and I'm like, wait, okay, it's okay.
or young women thinking they've got their first period. I had that happen to a stepsister. She's like, oh my God. No, it was just beets.
Did you remember dinner last night? But the reality of that transit time will give you insights, because if food is moving through your system too quickly, the fundamental reality of that is you're not digesting and absorbing food properly. So you're getting a malnutrition scenario that's playing. If your food is moving through too slowly, you're getting a process of auto-intoxication at a very low level, because your body voids the bowels to detoxify the system. All the things your body detoxifies comes either through the skin, through the breath, through the urine, so the kidneys, or through the bowel via the liver and the gallbladder's process of detox. So if someone's not moving their bowels on a regular basis, the colon has an incredible amount of blood supply. The body can reabsorb toxic material. This is why, your mom is so big on people detoxing after they've been in the system, because if you upregulate detoxification in any way and you're not getting that stuff out, it's actually better to stay toxed than to detox and not actually remove toxins from your system, because the digestive system technically is still the outside of the body. Does that make sense when I say that?
So I guess we'll do a small plug there. Drink lots of water, mineral content, electrolytes in the water, salt bath after EE system sessions, or if you're just doing anything else that's promoting a rapid detox, massages even can do that. That's why they're always like, hey, drink lots of water, follow it up with a salt bath, sea salt, not Epsom.
Yes. So yeah, that's the fundamental long and short of the quick and dirty as to why the digestive system should have some parameters in terms of its operation. because it influences what the body's going to do as a response. And compensation is a step away from health. That's how I look at things.
So what would be some things that someone can do to kind of normalize that process, right? Where they have like normal bowel movements.
So it's interesting because everyone immediately reaches for a bottle of something. And I do work for companies, I'll educate for companies. And I think digestive enzymes, for example, are good things, but they're still, it's like when you roll an ankle and you're using a crutch, it's good until you don't need the crutch anymore. Ideally, you shouldn't need a supplement or a pill to always digest your food. The first thing people do when they eat is they don't honor the food. They don't eat mindfully. Like how many days do you eat in front of your computer at the office?
Every day.
All the time, right? You ever eat in your car?
No, normally it's in front of the computer.
Or watching YouTube or watching, like basically we're eating distracted. And unconsciously, if you're doing something while you're eating, you're taking the sum total of the energy in your body. Your nervous system is engaged doing something, and there's less energy and capability left to break down your food because it's not about what you eat entirely. Food choice is important. I'm not saying eat fast food, but the worst diet completely digested is actually worse for your body than the best diet incompletely digested. So the mindful eating process is the minute you start smelling food, like what happens? You start to salivate, your stomach might start to grumble, like mentally you're getting prepared. That's when the digestive process starts. But it takes being present for the body to then enter the next phase. Because when you start taking a bite of food, remember that episode of The Simpsons where Homer eats like a duck and he like swallows the donut, he doesn't chew it? That's it's a funny reference. That's the average person. They've actually done studies to denote the difference between people who maintain healthy body weights and those who didn't. The same amount of calories chewed a third less actually induced more weight gain in people.
This is why it's extremely important to masticate. I love this word, masticate, because people go, what did you say?
Do you know the movie The Road to Wellville?
That's where.
Do you masticate, Mr. Lightbody?
Masticate.
Everyone has to watch. If you're part of this crew, you have to watch The Road to Wellville.
Oh, yeah. It's about Dr. Kellogg. He pioneered the first sanitarium.
Yeah, but Battle Creek, Michigan. Yeah. My stools are huge.
And smell like buns that have come just out the oven. Yeah. Something like the whole movie is just like a total amazing comical
satire.
But it's real. It's real, but it's satire, and it all revolves around making people well. It's like the first wellness institute ever, and the guy's just kind of a nut job, but hilarious.
And if you eat Kellogg's cornflakes, it directly connects to this movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, back to the original point. Chewing. Chew until it's a goo. I actually literally just made that up, but that works.
I was even told you need to chew your juice.
Yes, yeah. Because in the saliva of your mouth, there are enzymes that start to break down carbohydrates. If you don't mix the saliva with the food, you place more stress on your stomach, your small intestine, your pancreas, your gallbladder. And I remember when I was in nutrition school, one of my teachers saw me eat lunch. She's like, "Roland, geez, your stomach doesn't have teeth."
Oh, you're scarfing.
Because I used to be a trainer. The 5 minutes between when some client would end and the next one would start on the treadmill, I'd crush a whole meal in the trainer's room. And I paid for that for years until I really started to reestablish that. So to answer your question, the first thing you can do is be mindful about what it is you eat. And I know it's idealistic, but try not to eat distracted. Try to honor the fact that your body wants to be present for this thing, and enjoy your food. Be thankful for it. It sounds a little woo-woo, but your body is very much connected to this process of eating and digesting and absorbing food. That'd be the first thing.
Okay, so we got some 101s there. Enzymes, so let's say I'm trying to get my gut health in play and I eat terribly because I'm always on the go. I'm McDonald's, Chipotle, just junk food central. Like what do I throw at it to combat it? I know we don't want to do that, but most people are at that place. Yeah.
The first thing I would say is from a digestive support perspective, there are 2 supplements that I like. There's a company I've actually done some work for. Can I mention some of their name?
Plug away. Yeah. If you're that company, you want to send us free product, thank you.
Master Supplements, US Enzymes. They make the best enzymes on the planet. Actually, they manufacture them up in Minnesota, or they have a company that does, but I've never experienced more success with clients with these. Hydrochloric acid basically facilitates what your stomach can't do to break down proteins. You need acid. Digestive enzymes help with your macronutrients, proteins, carbs, and fats. And if your gut health is atrocious, you might want to use something like a probiotic with a binder. So this way you can kind of take care of the end-to-end process. Again, this is a Band-Aid. This is not a solution to anything. And then the second thing is, if you have the ability to not change anything about your life, i.e. the food choices are locked because of whatever, eat in a shorter window. So if there's 24 hours in a day, humans give themselves the license to eat as long as they're awake, right?
Yeah.
If you eat only between, say, the hours of 10 a.m. and 5 p.m., you will do less damage because you're restricting certain hours. So you can't eat junk if you're not allowing yourself to eat junk. This is the first thing that I work with clients and helping them to restructure their diet and lifestyle, because if they're not willing to make changes to the food choices, make changes to when you allow yourself to eat. Like, it's an easy psychological first step. And then you start to figure out how to make better choices at these fast food outlets. Like in Chipotle, well, get a leaner protein, get a slower digesting carb, put some vegetables on there to get some fiber in there, and learn how to create an optimal plate or an optimal bowl, because the average person needs just an adequate amount of protein, depending upon what your diet is. You don't want to crush carbs. You don't want to shoot your blood sugar to the roof. Blood thugger, sorry. Thugger. I need some blood thugger right now.
Mike Tyson.
I can't do it. I was going to try an impression. I can't do it. And then you want to make sure that you have adequate fiber, because inside your gut, you have about 3 to 5 pounds of bacteria. It's an ecosystem. It's called your microbiome. There's the microbes.
It's a hot topic these days.
It is a hot topic because everyone's is atrocious. If you've had lifelong tap water with fluoride and chlorine, that's an antimicrobial agent. Both of those are. If you've had multiple courses of antibiotics, excessive amounts of drinking. I mean, we're in Vegas right now. This is not a place that's happy gut health central. And people who are highly stressed, we had a conversation about the nervous system one time. Every digestive problem is also a nervous system problem, because the signals to restore function to the digestive system have to be present for the digestive system to work optimally. And if people have fragmented their lives from a stress perspective, they're always chronically engaged. No matter what you do, you can use supplements until the end of time. You have to teach your body how to come back down to baseline, use the breath to kind of activate the vagal tone and restore digestive function that way.
Well, here's a really great, you brought up antibiotics. So every time someone's like, oh, I just did a round of antibiotics, I'm like, oh, your poor gut health. Like you need to replenish that. It just immediately comes to mind. So what are some great ways to replenish gut health after literally wrecking it?
It's so wise you say that, because most people don't realize that for 6 to 9 months on the low side, after a course of antibiotics, your gut is different. It cannot just simply go back.
Yeah.
And do you guys know what the appendix is for? You know, everyone has a little appendix at the end of their colon.
I thought it didn't have a purpose.
It does.
It does?
Everything in the body has a purpose.
Well, I thought,
you know
I was
misled. It makes the
because
doctors money to take it out. No, that's not its purpose. The appendix is like a bomb shelter or a panic room for the microbes in your gut. So if you have an infection, food poisoning, things of that nature, your appendix is a little refuge. It's almost like if the earth were to go to shit and we were to go underground, the people that would emerge would start to repopulate the earth again. I
love that analogy.
Yeah. So that's
okay. So is that why people get infections and they have to get them removed?
If their gut is too toxic, the appendix becomes inflamed because of the residents that live in there, the inflammatory process in the immune system.
I read somewhere that it's like the only part of the body that doesn't have a function, and I was just like, that's crazy.
There's no such thing.
I know. I felt that way, but
a functionless element. Say the gallbladder, you can take that out. We can only live with one kidney. But fundamentally, if people are that far down the rabbit hole and they've taken antibiotics, the first strategy is while you're taking antibiotics, take a probiotic, not at the same time, but while you're taking antibiotics, separated by about 4 to 6 hours minimum. Because the antibiotic is, antibiosis means anti-life. Wipes most things out. And in the gut, there are various hierarchy of importance of different strains of microbes in there. So you have strains that were given to you during the birthing process. You go through the birth canal, and breast milk actually is designed to feed these certain strains of bacteria that happen to be very fragile when it comes to antibiotics. It's cool. Yeah. Nature does nothing by accident.
I saw this documentary was talking about how your entire immune system or just overall health is highly influenced whether or not you came from a C-section or through a natural birth, because of all the bacteria that you're exposed through your mom's canal.
Yeah, it's so cool that nature designed special fibers in milk that target specific bacteria to nourish them. So they become like the basis of, if you look at it as a neighborhood, they're like the people who've been in the neighborhood for multiple generations. They know all the history. They know of everything that's going on, how to maintain the neighborhood. But these bacteria are very fragile. So why people experience negative consequences after they've taken certain antibiotics is they wipe a lot of these things out. So one way to help the attrition is to take a quality probiotic separated by 4 to 6 hours. Why? Because the antibiotic has a period of activity. So if you take it with the antibiotic, it's useless. It's not going to do anything.
Right.
So you're depopulating to repopulate, and you're trying to balance the negative collateral damage. The second thing is certain strains of antibiotics become ineffective over time to certain bacteria. So they can become antibiotic resistant bacteria. And these tend to be the ones that become what are called pathogens over the course of time. So they could be a bacteria that's in your gut. And let's say their population threshold is 500 million residents. When they become 2 billion, for example, they cause problems. And some of these bacteria thrive off of simple sugars, starches, certain kinds of food. So food choice really matters when it comes to antibiotics, because what you eat feeds the bacteria. The starches and the fibers that you don't break down become food for these microbes.
I've heard that. So if you're on antibiotics, you really want to avoid sugar at all costs.
You want to avoid sugar at all costs, simple carbohydrates.
Because it turns to sugar.
Generally, all the fun foods. All the foods that are eaten for deliciousness.
All the comfort things.
All the comfort things. And then I would say beyond that, using certain strategic fiber supplements, not inulin and all these. Companies are making these products and they're marketing them for gut health. It's like, oh, have this pop with fiber in it. People don't realize that some of those things directly feed bad bacteria.
Oh, no.
Another one is kombucha. And I'm not saying all of these. It is dependent upon the person. You have to figure out what works for you. So if you try something and you have a very negative experience in terms of it's like, you walk out of the bathroom like, oh, we lost a lot of good men in there. Don't go in there. If that happens, that means your body's likely not positively responding to something.
So is that like a sign of bad gut health, is a stinky stool?
Stinky stool, if you can clear a room, although it may be funny and you may be impressed, that's a sign of something bad going on there, because your body produces, specifically the microbes produce these gases. There's hydrogen sulfide, methane, what have you. So a sign that you have a dysbiosis, an overgrowth of bad bacteria, is that when you fart, the dog leaves the room.
The dog never leaves the room, though. But it just did. It
is fun to watch those little real movies of when humans fart and the dog's just like
I'm out of here.
And it just takes off. But yes, it is a sign that someone has some serious stuff going on. And if you have taken a course of antibiotics, you have to expect that a period of time after that, it may be a little touch and go in terms of you restoring your normal gut health. That happened to me. I had to take doxycycline a few years ago because I was bitten by a tick, and I don't know what was worse, the experience of having the Lyme presentation or my GI health after this antibiotic, because doxycycline is the most powerful thing. And I can't tell you how many people that I've counseled with clinically, like, oh yeah, I've had like 5 rounds of this. I'm like, how are you alive? Like how do you function? It's insane. Yeah. Because the ecosystem in our gut is also parallel as kind of like a fractal aspect of us. Like if your gut health is unhealthy, it's assumed that you're likely not going to be as healthy because there's a feedback system between the two. So gut health is really something that I know we laugh at fart jokes and poo and stinky stuff.
Yeah.
But it is hilarious. It doesn't matter how old you get. It's always funny.
We'll always be kids.
Of course, especially guys.
Yeah.
But it is an evident presentation of an imbalance in your body. And to me, there's an imbalance that you may or may not experience when it comes to your health. It's an early warning sign. You may ignore it. You may do something about it. An imbalance gone on long enough creates a symptom. A symptom is a more overt sign that there's something wrong. If a symptom's left to fester, then you present a pathology or a pathological process. And this is how you can go from having irritated gut to maybe the presentation of IBS or something like Crohn's, colitis. Extreme manifestation is bowel cancer. Like those things don't happen by accident. There's always a pathogenesis of how these things play out.
Speaking of bowel cancer, what are your thoughts on hydro irrigation?
I was going to talk about this. So doing enemas.
Yeah.
So I think, as weird as they may be for some people to think about, they're wonderful strategies to help, especially if the bowel's not moving. One way to re-educate peristalsis, which is a fancy way of the movement.
Squeezy.
Squishes
it out.
It's moving. Vroom, vroom. One way to help trigger the re-education of the bowel to function, which in some cases it can become lazy because the muscles and the nervous system of the gut.
Or it's too impacted.
That too. Colonics can do that, although you have to know what someone has to know what they're doing. A true colon hydrotherapist, they have these machines.
They're not all the same.
They're not all the same. And there's different kinds of enemas that you can play around with.
Let's stop there for a sec. So there are two types of colonics. There's like a closed circuit and open circuit.
Yep.
And which was the one we're supposed to use?
Well, you're supposed to do, ideally you go to someone, a colon hydrotherapy practitioner, because they have a feel of what's going on. They also massage the areas that may be impacted. And if they've been doing it for long enough, you know what it's like. When someone's a healer, they develop an intuitive ability that they can't explain. A lot of places have these self-administration colon hydrotherapy devices.
Really? Mm-hmm.
You sit on a little tube.
Pass.
Yeah. You sit on a tube and then you fill and then you go. And
sounds dangerous.
Luckily, the pressure of the water is so low that there's likely not a real problem. The ones that are powerful are when they're being controlled by another human.
Yeah.
So true impaction is probably best to do that. Something you can do at home is an enema. And there's different kinds. You can do an enema. You can put chlorophyll in there. You can put bacteria and actually inoculate the bowel from the bottom up rather than take a probiotic. Or you can do a coffee enema, which is something that actually helps to detoxify and clear the liver.
It's highly stimulating.
It is highly stimulating. It's exhilarating, actually.
My mom used to joke, she instead of bottoms up, it's up the bottoms with coffee.
Just make sure the coffee's organic and don't put it in hot because that could be painful.
Oh, yeah. So I want to go through a couple tips on enemas.
Yeah.
So you want to use filtered water. This is extremely important because your colon is extremely sensitive and absorbs a lot. And then there's a few different things. So you have coffee. You can do green juice. The nutrients are going to absorb. You don't want to do alcohol. I've heard of kids doing that with some weird things like sticking stuff.
Don't chug a beer in your butt. Yeah.
No,
Not a bad,
I mean,
it's a
I
bad
just want to
thing
bring
do.
that because it's kind of funny. But what are some other things people? I know some people are doing iodine and H2O2 or
Hydrogen peroxide. Yeah, you can do hydrogen. I mean, I've never done that. I wouldn't know how to dose that. You can do chlorophyll, which is also kind of like a natural binder and detoxifier. And you could probably do different kinds of probiotic bacteria, but I mean, fundamentally,
so like back to Rhodes, they were Rhodes to Wellville. They were putting yogurt up their butt, so you can it literally, I guess, hit from both angles with the good bacteria.
I think someone just needs to watch that movie. They'll figure everything out.
Some kefir and anyway,
it moves like sludge.
Another one is trace minerals.
Yes.
That's a really great one because of the absorption.
That makes
and
sense.
most humans, the number one product I think most humans could benefit from is trace minerals because we get minerals from food, both angles.
Yeah.
Same time. Have you ever done that where you're drinking water and you're peeing? It's like there's a satisfaction of like a closed circuit.
I don't know if I've ever been chugging water while peeing, but
I've never done that either. I don't know what I'm talking about.
It's a funny thing to think about though. Yeah.
But yeah, trace minerals would be the number one thing because trace minerals are catalysts for all these biochemical reactions that happen in the body. So mineral deficiencies are sometimes part and parcel to constipation. When it comes to demographics, women typically default to constipation more than men do.
Really?
Typically what I see, women have a much more complicated system because of the rhythmic aspects of their hormonal
that
cycles.
Makes sense. They have more peaks and valleys
Exactly.
because of their cycle. Yeah.
Whereas men, I mean, sure, there are some who default to constipation, but most men who are like hypervigilant, they're the other way. They go too quickly and they see undigested food particles in their stool. Like there's a book that says, "What is your poo telling you?" The most important takeaway from that is, it may be gross, but like look in the bowl when you're done. Don't just get rid of it because if there's something that's not right, at least it's a warning sign to you.
I can't get rid of it without looking at it.
You have to look at it.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but I just got a picture of South Park, Mr. Hanky.
Mr. Hanky.
Yeah. Howdy. If it talks to you, that's something else.
Yes, seek help.
Yeah, seek help right away.
Call 1-800.
But yeah, you want to check out what your body's doing because everything your body does is giving you feedback as to where it is on a health continuum. And everything in the gut, like all the research points to the fact that there's the gut axis that connects to all these different areas, a gut-brain axis, a gut-lung, gut-heart axis. And if the gut becomes leaky, most of the immune cells reside in the gut, right? Because the surveillance team is there to make sure that anything that's not meant to get into the bloodstream is dealt with before it's absorbed into circulation, because blood circulates around your body every 3 minutes. So if you're absorbing things into the bloodstream from the gut that are toxic, they can get places. Like bacteria can go into your heart. You can have a viral infection that finds its way into a kidney. And these are
systemic is systemic. Yeah.
Exactly.
If it starts one place in the body's got its own pathways everywhere. Yeah.
And the medical system can't test for these things because their diagnostics are not sensitive enough, so they don't really consider them. But you can have a long-held Epstein-Barr virus stuck in your tonsils, which is why you have persistent tonsillitis, for example. Wow. But no one will put that together that may have come from the fact that your immune system's weakened because your digestive system's compromised, your gut's leaky, therefore there's an easier entry into your body because it's susceptible.
What a trip. Right? A shitty trip.
It is a trip. That shit's real.
We went deep into the weeds here with the topic. I think you guys have anything else?
I have one more question. So you touched on fiber, and then I've always looked at like probiotics, and there's a million of them, right? From $20 to $200 a bottle. It's like how
million spec.
2 billion, 3 billion, 5 billion. It's like, how do you decipher and make a decision? Do you go to the refrigerator one, or do I go to the one that's just on the shelf?
So what I do is this. It's a great question, because there is no ideal probiotic in the sense of a formulation that is the probiotic for everyone. The unfortunate answer is it's individualized to the person. They have to try something based upon what resonates with them. There are guidelines and principles. So if there's on the label, someone says proprietary blend, I wouldn't trust that, because they're using that word to get around telling you the deeper details. What I've learned from working for probiotic and gut health companies, specifically the one I mentioned before, the most deep assessment of probiotic bacteria is what's called a strain designation. This is a little boring, but I'm going to try to make it very easy. So you're Michael, you're Marino. If you don't strain designate a probiotic, I would say human 1, human 2. That's how most bacteria are labeled on a probiotic bottle. A strain designation gives that microbe an identity, and if you know what the identity of the microbe is, it determines the functionality. So you may want a strain that down-regulates the immune system. That would require a strain designation, so you need a probiotic that does that. Or you might not want to, if someone is very sensitive, they have Lyme, they have an autoimmune condition, some probiotics, because of what they do as they interact with the immune system, will piss someone's gut off. They could throw them into a flare-up. So I think strain designation would be the most important thing. No plastic bottles, because you don't want plastic that maybe sits in a warehouse in Vegas in the summertime. Plastic can leach into the bacteria, but also if the bacteria is not stored at a regulated temperature, they can start to die off. So it may say, oh, you have 50 billion. If that thing's been in a warehouse for a while, then it's been on a store shelf, it might be useless. And the third thing is bacteria have a fragility to their existence. So when you take a pill, the stomach's the harshest environment in your body. The acidity in the stomach should be like 2-3 pH. Some capsules have a specialized way of like encasing the bacteria, so they deliver through the stomach and they start to open only when it's into the small and the large intestine, is where most of the bacteria lives in the colon. You want it to get down there, or else you're not inoculating your body.
So honestly, then sticking it up your bottom is probably the most optimal way for those that don't mind that sensation.
If someone's harrowing and brave enough, it could be. But if you want to do it the good old fashioned way, there are certain companies that
there's
they charge more
about probiotics. There's something I heard it's called a prebiotic, and supposedly it bypasses that acidity somehow. I'm not sure the mechanism of action, but have you heard about that?
Yeah, so a prebiotic is actually just a fancy word for a fiber that is a food source for a probiotic. Not all prebiotics are the same. Like if you eat artichokes, there's tons of prebiotic fiber in there. It's not the kind of fiber that helps you bulk your stool. They're delicious. But if someone eats too many artichokes and they have gut issues, the streak in the toilet bowl, we talked about porcelain, like that's an evidence that your system is a little bit imbalanced. So prebiotics can be good. They're food for probiotics. Going to blow your mind. Then you create postbiotics, which is a thing. We won't even get into that just yet.
Or maybe that's what I was thinking of instead of pre.
That's usually pre and pro.
Yeah.
I've never heard of post.
So post is what the bacteria make when they eat these prebiotics, because they want to make these compounds that are beneficial for the environment of your gut. So it actually creates what's called symbiosis.
Yeah. Well, that's why they're there. Otherwise,
exactly.
Get out.
There's this theory that the bacteria are actually just using us and manipulating us as a host to create their own existence. So
there's probably like a little universe inside of us somewhere.
True. Yeah, well, there is.
Literally.
It's an ecosystem, right? And it's the same. The parallel is, if you introduce an invasive species in the forest, what happens to the ecosystem? It gets disrupted. If you degrade the land, the terrain, the ecosystem breaks down. And the same thing happens in the gut. If the terrain is problematic, That's where people get gut infections, parasites, fungal infestations, all of these things. So it's a sign that your body's not where it needs to be. Something needs to be done, but that's where the clinical aspect of figuring out what it is for you, which likely will be different than you, but there are some fundamental things that will help both of you regardless of what you're dealing with.
The company I use, I send them a sample of my stool, and that's how they formulated my pre and probiotics. So I'm hopeful that they take that into account, and that's
you give them your shit and they give you the good shit.
Yep. I give them bad shit, they give me good shit.
It's a good deal.
It's a great deal. Yeah.
That's a good deal.
Yeah. It's $200 a month, so I don't know how much of a great deal that is.
A good deal. Better be the good shit.
I mean, when I first started taking it, I didn't realize like, oh, this is actually like a good normal bowel movement. Because I didn't know what I didn't know. So I just thought that whatever I had going on was just the way that everyone shit, right? You don't see other people shit, so you don't know. Yeah. And then I was having like normal bowel movements, and I was like, oh, this is wow. So it immediately makes a change, and I know when I'm off.
I feel like people that are watching this are going to want to know what you were using. So why don't you just fire it off?
Yeah, so it's Viome. So it's like Viome with a V. So
Viome V.
Yeah, with a V. Yeah, IOME. They have this test called the full intelligence test, and they take a sample of your blood, your saliva, and your stool, and then they formulate a supplement for you, and includes there's what do you call them, lozenges to start with the bacteria in your mouth, but I couldn't consistently do those, so I don't really do them. So I just do the supplements and the pre and probiotics, but they start from the mouth. And so at every level, which is really cool.
Can I poke a hole in that?
Yeah, of course.
Can I challenge something?
Let's go.
Okay. So the idea is good. The idea is sound. I don't think that they're taking a bad approach. But what comes out of you in a day is not the absolute representation of what lives inside of you. Deep. Actually, yes, we're deep in.
Very deep.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm using him as a sock puppet right now. So the thing that's the fall down with stool tests, they're currently the best we have, but if you change your diet in 24 hours, your microbiome will shift. So let's say you pooped and you said, oh, I'm going to eat a keto diet starting tomorrow. Your poop 2 days from now will have a totally different profile. I've done this before, right? I secretly took a turd. Yes, you heard that right. I took a single turd with a friend. We took 2 different samples, put them in separate test kits, sent them off to the same lab, and we got 2 different results back.
Wow.
So he asked the doctor who did this, well, how do you do this? He's like, I'm just going to treat the one that's worse. That's bad science and bad clinical practice. So there are some fall downs and limitations because different bacteria have different release cycles. Like it's a full moon tonight. That's when certain organisms and parasites are their most active. So you're going to have evidence of things coming up differently. And I've seen this for years clinically. People have issues, but when you look at a stool test, nothing bad comes up. Like, well, that can't be right. So I would say take those things with a grain of salt. It's not an absolute. I know it might make some people sad because they don't want to have the ambiguous gray area of what I can't know. But it's a good starting point because what it does is it gets you into becoming in tune and in touch with how your body's shifting when you're performing an intervention.
Yeah, no, that's a good point though, because on a day-to-day, I doubt very many people have the exact same poo every day.
No one does, unless you eat the same
most
thing.
Regimented diet ever, which maybe a couple people do that.
And it's meant to be dynamic. Like nothing in the body is a static thing. That's what I've realized. And a lot of people in the functional medicine health world don't think about these things because, well, they don't think about the variables because they like the closed loop of, oh, the test just has numbers. I just need to look at the numbers. I make all my decisions based upon the numbers. One data point doesn't make a trend. Yeah. It's just a point of data. Yeah. So for me, it's patterns. And unfortunately with these tests, if you were to spend the money to do 5 tests in 5 days,
shit everywhere.
It would be a shitstorm.
Yeah, it would be.
The outcome would be a shit. We should have had a shit counter for this episode.
Maybe the video editor can throw in a shit
ding,
count.
Ding. How many times every time a little fart sound comes up every time. But yeah, I mean, I love that you brought that up, and thank you for letting me. Take the shit out of that one, yeah.
All right, I think we had enough shit talking. Yeah. And we're done. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this conversation, and maybe you have some comments to make, some great ideas for us on how to improve gut health and whatnot, please leave a comment, like, share, subscribe, all those good things. We'll see you next time.